This is the Profit Academy podcast, proudly powered by you.
Ever thought about the similarities between, say, tending a garden and navigating the world of trading? Maybe not the first connection you'd make, but It's the surprisingly clever concept behind the excerpts we're diving into today from The Evolution of a Trader.
Right.
The book uses this gardening analogy to break down the different stages of becoming a successful trader, especially in unpredictable markets like cryptocurrency.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So get ready to explore where you might fit on this trader evolution journey.
What I find so intriguing about this approach is that it takes something as familiar as gardening,
right,
with its stages of planting, nurturing, and harvesting,
and
applies it to the often complex and intimidating realm of trading. It reminds us that just as you wouldn't expect a tiny seed to become a prize-winning pumpkin overnight, right, becoming a skilled trader requires a journey with clear stages and consistent effort.
Right, and this source really digs into those stages.
It does.
The first one is called The Excited Seed Scatterer, with the tagline, "Throw it and hope it grows."
I like that.
I can practically picture this novice gardener tossing seeds everywhere with tons of enthusiasm, but zero plan.
Oh, yeah.
Watering haphazardly.
Oh, gosh.
Maybe forgetting about sunlight.
Yep.
Then they're baffled when nothing sprouts.
Happens all the time.
I'm sure some of you can relate to that early excitement, maybe even in your own trading journey.
It's a perfect parallel to the novice trader who dives headfirst into the market.
Oh, yeah.
Often lured by the hype of quick riches or a hot tip they heard somewhere. They might be making decisions based on gut feelings or social media buzz,
right,
instead of, say, understanding the economic forces at play.
Yeah.
Just like our overeager gardener ends up with a patchy, disappointing garden.
Right.
These traders often face early setbacks and losses, which can be incredibly discouraging.
I remember when I first dipped my toes into crypto, I bought this obscure altcoin because a friend swore it was the next big thing. Let's just say I learned my lesson about due diligence the hard way.
Wow.
And this source specifically points to the early days of cryptocurrency as a prime example of this seed scattering phenomenon.
For sure.
Lots of people bought in without grasping the underlying technology or the very real risks.
Absolutely. And this is where the importance of understanding your environment comes in.
Okay.
Just as a gardener needs to know things like soil type and climate, a trader needs to grasp the fundamentals of the market they're operating in.
Yeah.
Let's take something like moving averages.
Okay.
A technical indicator that helps you identify trends in price movements. Understanding how to use moving averages effectively can give you a much clearer picture of market dynamics than chasing every fleeting rumor.
So it's not just about enthusiasm or gut feelings.
Nope.
It's about pairing that initial passion with a solid foundation of knowledge and the right tools for the job.
Precisely. And this brings us to the next stage where our eager gardener, after a few setbacks, decides they need more equipment.
That's right. Stage 2, the tool collector, where the motto is more gadgets, more growth. Right?
Love it.
Think overflowing sheds every fancy shovel and fertilizer imaginable.
Well, I know the type.
But does all that gear automatically equal a flourishing garden?
Well,
not quite.
Not necessarily, no.
And that overflowing shed is a perfect metaphor for the tool collector trader, right?
Spot on. It's the trader who gets caught up in the allure of the holy grail,
right?
That elusive indicator strategy or secret formula that guarantees success. Their charts are cluttered with indicators. They're constantly bouncing between new courses and systems.
Yeah.
But those consistent results remain just out of reach.
You know, it's funny because I went through a similar phase in my gardening journey. I thought if I just had the right fertilizer or the perfect pruning shears, my garden would magically transform. I was so focused on collecting tools that I neglected the actual work of understanding the plants and the soil. Sounds like the same trap can catch traders too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The book really emphasizes that it's not about having every tool under the sun.
Right.
But rather about understanding the few that are truly essential for your particular approach.
Okay.
And mastering their use. Think about it. Even a seasoned gardener wouldn't use a chainsaw to trim their rose bushes, right?
True.
Each tool has its purpose. And knowing when and how to use it effectively is key.
So how can traders avoid falling into this tool trap? What's the key to moving beyond simply collecting and actually mastering the tools of the trade?
It's a great question, and one that many traders grapple with. I think it starts with recognizing that each tool, whether it's a technical indicator or a risk management strategy, is designed to address a specific aspect of trading. For example, let's say you're interested in gauging market volatility. There's an indicator called the Bollinger Bands, which helps visualize price fluctuations and potential breakout points. Instead of trying to learn every indicator out there, focus on understanding how something like Bollinger Bands can provide valuable insights into market volatility, and then incorporate that understanding into your trading strategy.
So it's almost like a chef learning to master their knives before moving on to more specialized equipment.
Exactly.
Start with the fundamentals, understand their purpose, and then build from there.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And this emphasis on understanding the fundamentals ties in beautifully with the next stage of our gardener trader evolution. It's where our overenthusiastic gardener, after splurging on tools, realizes that more isn't always better. Especially when it comes to their hands-on approach.
That's stage 3, the overenthusiastic waterer, with the tagline, drowning the crops.
Oh, I like that one.
It's like they can't resist fiddling with their plants.
I know some people like that.
Constantly watering, pruning, fertilizing, convinced that their constant intervention will speed up the process. But what happens? They end up stressing the plants and actually hindering their growth.
It's a classic case of too much of a good thing. And it's surprisingly relatable in the trading world.
Oh, I can absolutely see the parallels. It's that trader who's glued to their screen, checking their portfolio every few minutes, making impulsive trades based on fear of missing out or a minor dip in the market. They're so caught up in trying to control every little fluctuation that they forget about the bigger picture, the long-term strategy. It's like they're drowning their crops with their anxiety and overthinking.
Exactly. The key takeaway here is the importance of stepping back and trusting the process. Just as a gardener needs to provide the right conditions for their plants to thrive. A trader needs to develop a solid strategy and then resist the urge to constantly intervene.
Now that can be tough, right? Especially in volatile markets where it feels like everything's changing by the minute. How can traders cultivate that patience and avoid getting swept up in the emotional roller coaster of the market?
It's a challenge, no doubt, but there are practical techniques that can help. One that I've found particularly helpful is setting clear trading limits for yourself before entering a trade. Decide in advance how much you're willing to risk, where your stop loss will be, and at what point you'll take profits. Having these predetermined boundaries in place can help you stay disciplined and avoid making impulsive decisions based on fear or greed.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like creating a structured environment for yourself.
It is.
Similar to how a gardener might use trellises to support their climbing plants or build raised beds to control soil conditions.
Yes. It's about creating a framework that supports your growth and minimizes the risks of getting overwhelmed by external factors or your own emotions. Stage 4, where our gardener, after a few seasons of trial and error, starts to embrace a calmer, more deliberate approach.
It's the stage where they transition from frantically trying to control everything to understanding the power of patience and consistency. They become the patient gardener with the motto, tending the bonsai. Just a beautiful image, isn't it?
It is. The bonsai tree, with its meticulous care and deliberate shaping over years, even decades, perfectly embodies the mindset shift that happens in this stage. Our gardeners no longer obsessing over instant results. They're focused on nurturing their plants over the long term, understanding that true growth takes time and consistent effort.
And it sounds like this same shift in thinking is crucial for traders looking to achieve sustainable success, right?
Absolutely. This is where the book really shines, in drawing those parallels between gardening and trading. Just as the bonsai gardener focuses on small incremental adjustments to shape their tree, a trader at this stage develops a defined strategy and aims for consistent smaller profits rather than chasing big wins that might be fleeting.
So instead of trying to time the market perfectly or jump on every hot trend, they're focused on building a system that generates steady returns over time. Even if those returns are smaller and less flashy.
Exactly. And this is where risk management becomes even more crucial. Just as a gardener protects their plants from pests and diseases, a trader at this stage is actively managing their risk to protect their capital. This might involve diversifying their portfolio, using stop-loss orders to minimize losses, or carefully assessing their risk tolerance before entering any trade.
It sounds like a much more grounded and sustainable approach
Yes.
than the frantic energy of the earlier stages.
Indeed. And this focus on building a resilient system rather than chasing quick wins is what sets the stage for the final and most rewarding stage of our gardener trader evolution.
Okay, I'm eager to hear about this final stage. It's where the gardener's years of experience and patience culminate in something truly special, right?
It is. It's where they transition from simply tending a garden to creating a masterpiece.
All right, let's step into that final garden, stage 5. The Master Gardener tagline. Creating a masterpiece. I bet this garden isn't just rows of veggies. It's got that balanced ecosystem vibe, right?
You've painted the perfect picture.
Yeah.
And in the trading world, this is mirrored by the master trader. They've reached a point of such consistency and calm that they execute strategies with an almost effortless precision.
Okay.
They're not chasing fleeting trends or panicking over every dip.
Yeah.
They've developed a deep understanding of the market's rhythms and can adapt to shifts like a seasoned sailor adjusting to changing winds.
So it's more than just making profitable trades. It's like they've become attuned to the market itself.
Yes.
Almost anticipating its moves.
Exactly. They've internalized those core principles we've been discussing, honed their skills, and developed a mindset that prioritizes long-term sustainability over short-term gains.
Okay.
They're not just reacting to the market, they're participating in a kind of dance with it.
That's so evocative. But here's something I've been pondering, and the book touches on this too. Mastery in both gardening and trading isn't about achieving some kind of flawless perfection, is it?
You've hit on a crucial point. Even the most experienced gardener still faces challenges.
For sure.
Unexpected weather pests, or maybe a certain plant that just refuses to thrive.
Yeah.
And the market, just like nature, is full of surprises. It's impossible to predict every twist and turn.
So true mastery isn't about avoiding those challenges altogether.
No.
It's about learning to navigate them with grace, resilience, and that deep understanding we talked about.
Precisely. The master gardener trader understands that setbacks are inevitable.
Okay.
But they view them as opportunities to learn, adapt, and refine their approach. It's that constant process of evolution and refinement that truly defines mastery.
This is making me think about my own most prized houseplant, a monstera I've nurtured for years.
Oh, cool.
It's had its share of struggles, mealybugs, a near-fatal repotting incident, but each challenge has taught me something new about its needs and ultimately made me a better plant parent.
What a wonderful way to put it. And it speaks to a point that often gets overlooked.
Okay.
The journey itself.
Right.
The process of learning and growing can be just as rewarding, if not more so, than the final outcome.
I love that the masterpiece isn't just the flourishing garden or the profitable portfolio.
Right.
It's the personal growth, the resilience, the wisdom gained through years of dedicated practice, and yes, even through those inevitable setbacks.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
And to bring it back to our source material, the evolution of a trader reminds us that this journey, whether in the garden or the market, is ultimately about becoming more than just a skilled technician. It's about cultivating patience, discipline, adaptability, and a deep understanding of the forces at play.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into these fascinating parallels, I have one final question for our listeners.
All right.
Think about your own trading journey, wherever you may be on that path. What stage resonates most with you right now?
Yeah. And what lessons from this gardener's perspective can you apply to cultivate consistent success in your own trading? That's a fantastic question to reflect on. Remember, just like a garden, your trading journey requires constant care, attention, and a willingness to adapt and learn. Embrace the process. Celebrate the small wins. Learn from the setbacks, and remember that true mastery is an ongoing journey. It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
And with you, dear listeners. Until next time, happy trading, and don't forget to water those metaphorical gardens.